All right, welcome to Video Guys Newsday Tuesday. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. You give us about 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to teach you more about video streaming, video production, video editing, about the products we sell on Video Guys, as well as tech tips on how to use them. Today's show, not about any specific products. Today's show is about live streaming and what you need to do the most successful live streams you can. It's summer, people are outside, a lot of outdoor live streaming, a lot of events happening this time of year. We're going to go over our tips for those events. We're also going to talk to you about the most important steps you need to take to make sure your videos sizzle this summer. So should we start the checklist? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got a checklist of things that we're going to go through, and we're not going to read the whole checklist. We're going to do them one at a time in old-fashioned style. So the first one we have is use a checklist. And this is really important, folks. A written checklist. Good old-fashioned, write it down, put checks on the column, figure out everything you have to do. You're going to have a pre-production checklist that's before you even leave your place of business or your house to take your stuff on the road. You're going to have a checklist when you get there when you're on the road to set up at your remote event. And then you're going to have a checklist of actually the event day of the things you're going to run through. You can never have too many things on your checklist. And even no matter how seasoned you are, no matter what an expert you think you are on streaming, you should still be running a checklist. And in fact, at the end of the show, we're going to show you a little checklist we use. And when you go to our blog post on this video afterwards, you'll be able to download our checklist if you want to use as a template of the things we go through for every production we do on Video Guys. And even when you think you've nailed everything on the checklist, sometimes things don't go perfectly, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Number 2, check your equipment thoroughly. This one is real important, folks, and you know, this stuff we're doing now, we're using a TriCaster TC1 for this show, Wirecast gear, maybe it's a Sling Studio, maybe it's a vMix, whatever you're using, Wirecast. I can't stress this enough. Disable auto update. And make sure you manually run updates yourself before big shows, because I have stories of people from the lowest level amateurs just trying to stream like a kid's birthday party so grandma can see it across the country, to people doing shows that really have production budgets in the tens of thousands of dollars, that all of a sudden the thing wants to live update and people are like, oh my God, what do I do? This is horrible. Usually the live updates go over in time. Sometimes they don't. So check all your stuff. Besides live updates, the other thing I want to talk about is cabling. You can never have too many cables. Cables get unplugged, cables get frayed, cables stop working. You want to do audio checks. You want to check your audio and your sound. And this is all the stuff you want to check before you ever leave to go to the remote location. You know, make sure your batteries are fresh for your audio, for your mics, if your mics need if they don't have phantom power. All right, next we have, and this one's real important, folks, as we learned with today's show. Connect to YouTube, Facebook, or your CDN and make sure everything's working. Make sure you have your profiles and everything set properly. What did we find out during the pre-show of this show? YouTube kicked out our live show. We don't know why. We'll figure it out over the next few hours when the show is over, but things can and do go wrong sometimes, so you want to make sure you've checked it at home. And you also want to check your CDNs and your Facebook and your YouTube and your live keys, whatever you've got to put in there on the day of the show, folks. So it's something you want to do before and after. If you're simulcasting to multiple areas, you want to make sure you have the bandwidth on the site. And I will do a little plug for one product we sell, and that is, if you don't know that you're going to have enough internet where you are, you want to check out the LiveView Solo product. It uses cellular bonding, and it allows you to go live to the internet from anywhere with your live streaming. Okay, next we have know your event and its specific needs. You know, what are you shooting? Are you shooting a sporting event? Is it a worship ceremony, like a wedding ceremony or something? Is it school related? Is it a school play? Is it a school sporting game? Is it graduation? Whatever it's going to be, you want to make sure you know what that event is. You want to talk to the people running the event and talk to anyone else who's doing video or photography in the event, because you want to be collegial and cordial. You won't be tripping and running all over each other. And a lot of times what happens is you think you talked to the right person before the event because you were talking to the person who booked you or hired you for the event, but you're not actually talking to the person who's running the event. So it's real important to make sure with that person who's really in charge of making sure everything's in the right place the day of the event, that they get to know you, know who you are, know what you're up to, know what your goal for the event is, why you're there, and how you're going to work together with their people and complement each other not fight with each other and run into each other. Kind of like the olden days with the stories of the videographers and photographers at a wedding event, who'd want to kill each other by the end of the day. No, you got to work with everyone, make sure everything's clear, and make sure you're working with the person who's really producing the event, not just the person who hired you to put on the event. All right, next we have pack, prepare, and bring extras. I can't emphasize bringing extras enough. You can never have too many extra batteries fully charged. You can never have too many extra cables. Have some extra mics. If it's indoors, have extra lighting. Have extras. Have a bag full of utility tricks and stuff that you always have with you, which is every adapter you could possibly dream of, every kind of battery you need. You know, one of my tips is bring a couple of bean bags. If you don't have a tripod that works, you'd be amazed how a beanbag can serve as a tripod for doing some shots, especially if you want to get some low-level shots. Like, let's say it's a dance recital where you want to put a camera on the stage to see the kids tap dancing, or maybe it's a sporting event where you'd like to get that really down low angle, or, you know, there's no room for you where they're putting you. A beanbag lets you make a real steady thing. It's one of my all-time favorite shooting tips, and it's just have a couple of beanbags in your bag. The other thing is you can never have too much tape, be it a gaffing tape or duct tape or masking tape. You can have too much tape because at some point you're going to be taping stuff together in the world of live shooting. So a beanbag and tape, that's my big extras, but you want to make sure that you have everything you could possibly need. Converters, if you're using converters and the converters are powered, you want to make sure you have power taps. Even if they're battery powered, have redundancy. Redundancy is a big key when you're live, and as many things as you can have redundant as possible within your control, the better. Next. Scout your location and prepare accordingly. This is one that is very important that people don't realize. And one of the things I like to tell people that they scout wrong all the time is a lot of people scout the lighting wrong. Why? Because you go in the morning and it's an afternoon event. So all of a sudden you think you've got your lighting perfect because you're seeing what it's going to look like in the morning, let's say on Thursday. And then Saturday you go to shoot the event in the afternoon and you forget, oh wait, the sun's on the other side of the stadium. Now there's shadows. Now I have lens flare. Now I have glare. That happens. So definitely you want to be at the event the same time of day of the event if it's an outdoor event. Also, you want to check your audio at the event, your audio level. Sometimes your audio sounds really great. You put people in the place and it sounds horrible. So you want to try to test your audio as best you can. You want to test your audio before and after when you get there. And then the other thing that I like to bring up that sounds kind of silly, but you know where the bathrooms are. You know, you might have to run and hit the bathroom in an emergency, and you want to know the shortest and quickest way to get to the fastest bathroom you can if that happens. Now, I'm assuming you have a crew and some people who can back you up. Obviously, if you're the only person doing the show, you're stuck there, so go to the bathroom before the event even starts. But that's one of my little tips on that. You know where you can get some water or food if you need food, if it's going to be a long day, an all-day event. Some of you guys are streaming events that are multiple hours long. You know, be prepared with stuff like that. The other thing is when you're scouting your event and it's the actual venue where you're going to be, you also want to find out, is there anyone else there who's going to have gear there that might get in the way of your gear? And that's something where you got to look at it before you get there. Then when you get there, if all of a sudden you see that there's a tripod right in that shot you set up, you have to talk to that person, figure out what to do, make it all good. It's one of those little things where I still come back to my tip before. Be cordial, be cooperative. You get more bees with honey. Cooperate. Talk to the person who's actually running the show, not the person who booked you, and make sure that you get your chance to create the best show you can in the off-site venue. All right, next we have set up lights, camera, and action. And this is one that I want to stress the part that's not on the list, and that's audio. And that is you got to check your audio constantly. So not only is your audio being set up beforehand, but I need you to make sure that you check all your mics, have fresh batteries, if they're battery powered or phantom power. You want to be listening to the audio. You want your sound people to be monitoring the audio that's coming through their cameras. You want to listen to the cameras and you want to listen to the audio during the shows. Way back in the early days of video, we had a real embarrassing event. It was my grandmother's 70th birthday party. We made a surprise party for her, and we shot this video. We passed around a mic back in the days when we used to do that, where everyone talking to the mic, and the battery on the mic died after the first person got interviewed. So we had no audio for the interviews, and my grandmother, being a grandma, said, still leave those clips in. I don't know what they're saying, but if I watch it enough times, maybe I could figure it out and lip read. And she would watch the video, even with the people not talking. It broke my heart, but she didn't care. She wanted to see her friends, she wanted to see the video, but that's why it's so important. Be constantly monitoring your audio during the shows while you're shooting. Also, when you're setting up your lights, you got to make sure that your lights are not getting certain glare off of certain backgrounds or certain other things. You know, when we do the show in here in the studio, I always worry about the light coming off of my glasses. Our viewers tend to comment on the light bouncing off of my head, but it's still glare and a reflection. So when you're dealing with lighting, remember that lighting can get a little tricky, and the best laid plans with lighting don't always work out. If you're outdoors and you're doing lighting, you know, those same little reflectors that people use on pro photography shoots, you can use also to diffuse and sculpt and get your better lighting where you are. But lights are real important when you're shooting. Make sure you've got it all set. And with your cameras, make sure your cameras have adequate power, folks. I said bring batteries. Even if you think that you're tapping into the AC that's there, have batteries just in case, because stuff goes wrong. Number 8. Set up and test streams. Have a dress rehearsal if you can, a walkthrough. If you're doing a sports type show, maybe you're gonna have someone announcing the show, maybe you can get there a little early, you can walk through, make sure his audio levels are right. If you're doing something like a graduation, you know, make sure you've got that camera set correctly. If you're doing more than one camera, make sure you've worked out your camera angles, you've talked to your camera people and they understand what their role is. You know, ideally you want to have some kind of comm system with multiple camera people talking to each other, but that's not always possible or in your budget. Ideally with a comm system, the guy running the show, like Eddie's doing now, would be talking to the different camera operators. He'd say, okay, camera 1, you know, zoom in. Camera 2, get ready, we're cutting to you. Your camera 3, you know, get that shot of that cute little baby over there that's, you know, smiling while the kid's getting his diploma. So it's all kinds of different things. And the other thing that I'm going to stress that I can't stress enough, so I'm going to look at the camera so you really get it. Test your streams on location before the show. Live streaming can be finicky. Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're going, these CDNs have rules of their own sometimes, and you want to make sure everything works, and you want to have a plan B if they don't. So like we're going live. We wanted to take this show today live to Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Periscope, and Twitch. Well, Periscope we've been having problems with, but one of the reasons we switched to Twitch is because we felt Periscope was not as important and Twitch was becoming more important. But today before the show, while we were doing the pre-show, we found out that YouTube kicked us off. We don't know why, we'll figure it out, we'll get it fixed, but today's show isn't live on YouTube. So you don't want all your eggs in one basket. If you're using a custom CDN, you want to make sure you have that all set up and you're ready to roll and you're ready to get the show on. You want to test before you go. We recommend a pre-show of at least 5 minutes long. Yeah, it's a little stressful on your talent and stuff like that, but it lets people find your stream also who are there earlier to get it locked in to know it's going live, but it also lets you work out any kinks if you run into them. The one thing I stress, if you're doing a live show, try to have some kind of content, something engaging, because you don't want people to leave your live production because they got bored during the pre-show. But 5-minute pre-show, we try to go 10 here, but that's just best practices, and that's number 8. Set up and test your streams. I think I forgot to cut to a video on the dress rehearsals. So do we still have that video, Ed? Let's cut to that video.
Right now, we're going to go over testing your streams. And for that, we're going to use a Wirecast gear system. It just is a little bit clearer than some of the other live production systems. So in Wirecast gear, we're going to go to our output and our output settings. Now, as you can see here, destination is set for RTMP server. That's for custom RTMPs. Wirecast gear has a lot of presets for specific CDNs, but we're going to stick with the custom RTMP just because most other encoders that you might be using only allow you to have customized. Some of them won't have already built-in ones for you to be able to use. So we're going to click OK, and we're going to title this one YouTube because that's the one we're going to stream to. And for that, we're going to have to open up Internet Explorer, and we'll go to YouTube. And luckily for us, our YouTube channel was already in. And for those of you who already stream to YouTube, you know to be able to use anything, you'd go into your Creator Studio and then into your live streaming setup, which we're already in here. And since, like I said, this is going to be a custom RTMP, we have to put all of the information in. So first you're going to take the URL, and that's where you copy and paste it into address, and we'll go back to YouTube for the stream key, copy that. And we will throw that into the stream here. So that's really it. You're all set. And this is the same thing you would do if you were going live with your show, but we're testing, so we're not going to have any sources going out.
All right, how ironic. We pre-recorded that to go to YouTube, and we got kicked off of YouTube, but we're thinking that that might be the reason we got kicked off of YouTube, because they watched us doing that video and thought we were spamming and doing it, but we'll figure it out. Okay, next. Graphics and production elements. This is real important, folks. You got to do a lot of work up front. If you want your production to look really high class and look good, you got to have some pre-production value in it. So, we've got the screens down here. We've got the lower thirds that just came up. We've got the background. That's what we call our production value, our graphics. Now, I'm going to cut to the camera now, and we're going to see Eddie doing some mixing while I talk about all this stuff. And this is Eddie actually doing some cutting and mixing. So you can see the TriCaster interface. Let's say he was going to bring up a lower third here. Putting pressure on him. There's the lower third, average graphics and production elements. Now let's say he's going to cut back to camera one of me with the thing on with the list on the side. There you go. Awesome. Eddie in action on the TriCaster TC1. Once again, the other thing with your graphics that you want to do is you want to meet with the people who are running the event that you're doing and make sure that the graphics you have meet whatever requirements they have. It might be they say it has to be a certain red, or it has to be a certain type font, or they might say you have to have the trademark symbol, whatever. It's their show that you're putting on, so you got to make sure that you meet whatever their graphics are. So you definitely want to get those graphics reviewed and approved far before the show starts, but I would also run through the graphics again with the people producing the show at the event just to make sure everything is kosher. All right, next, number 10. This is the most important one to me, and this is what separates a low-end production from a high-end production, and that is you want to record the video. You don't just want to record the output of the show, you want to record all the ISO streams. So we've got 3 cameras going in today's show. We're recording the streams from all 3. That gives you the ability in post-production to fix anything that went wrong, to pull up those streams, to use them for creating your content later. But it also gives you a backup, and that backup could be because things went wrong, you got to reproduce a show, or it could just be that there was, say, some great video that now you want to make a 1-minute trailer from, or you want to point to people and say, this is the good stuff we have. So you can't record enough. In fact, we recommend putting the memory cards in the cameras, recording to the cameras, recording the ISO streams, and recording the final output, because you can never have too many copies. You can never be too safe or too sorry. You can get hard drives now. We've got portable hard drives from G-Tech, LaCie, and Glyph. Then you can get a 2 terabyte hard drive that's not even SSD, a single spinning drive, 7,200 RPM, for $100, $200. So now you can get SSDs that are even faster for doing all the streams to one single device via USB 3 or even Thunderbolt 3. So by all means, record and back up everything, do your live show and enjoy it, and know you have the safety and security of multiple backups happening at the same time during the live event. Okay, we got a video now, so let's cut to that video.
Eric, you want to make sure that they're specific so that you can find it right away. And this is, in the TriCaster, this is where you're going to set the destination. And we want this to go exactly where it was already set. We have our Videoguys Newsday Tuesday, and we're just going to leave it there. Now this one is our backup, and we're going to also title this Checklist for Live Streaming. And we'll put BU. That's how I like to title backup. You can write in backup. You just want to make sure that it's titled something different from your main, so that you know if you need the backup if the main one failed, just so that you're aware of your equipment as you work. And this is the hard drive that we're going to be using. I'll just throw that into webinars, and there we go. So now your recordings are set.
I hope you liked our new summer set, all nice, bright, and yellow, and airy, and orange. And let's review what we have coming up. We've got some shows coming up. So we've got, what do we have next? July 3rd's Newsday Tuesday. I can't read it from here.
Best of video guys.
Best of video guys, that's right, because we may be on vacation with vacation schedules, so I think we're just going to cut a clip that's going to be a loop of the best of show, July 10th. We're really excited about that. That's Atomos. They've got a new 5-inch field recorder, the Ninja V, coming out. We're going to talk about that, plus some of the other products they have. And they've also got some new software that came out for their converters. We're excited about that. And then July 17th, spotlight on NDI. A lot of new NDI technologies are coming out, and NDI software. NDI is the live streaming and production technology that's revolutionizing live streaming and production. Comes from NewTek, the NDI. We're really fans of it. Our studio runs on NDI, and NDI is going to be the theme of the July 7th show. Now let's put up the regular graphic about what today's show is, and I'm going to review the top 10 list that we went over. Oh, I still need that because I'm reading it from the screen. I don't have my teleprompter. I don't have my Surface. So to review what we have for the summer streaming, use a checklist. We're going to provide a link to you that you can download the checklist directly for use. Check your equipment. Connect to your CDNs. Know your event and its specific needs. Pack and prepare and bring extras. Scout your location and prepare accordingly. Set up lights, cameras, and action. Set up and test your streams. Arrange graphics and production elements. And record all your cameras in the output stream. That's our top 10 article. We hope you liked it. We had fun doing it. Video Guys Newsday Tuesday. You give us 20 minutes. We're going to tell you all about the stuff we sell. This is Gary from Videoguys.com. 800-323-2325. Peace.
Video Guys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.